Welcome to the video for Nursing 532, Healthcare Technology and Information Management, that is here to serve as the assignment clarity video. You already hopefully viewed the background on the course and all of the content that we will be going through. So right now we're going to go through your assignments to provide a little clarity before that first session. Please make sure to write down your questions so you can bring it to our first live session. But in efforts to not utilize the whole 50 minutes of our first live session, this is why we created the video first. So again, hopefully you'll watch the video that is at the beginning of the course overview about the actual course. Please always look at the syllabus and the weekly content. So for this class, and again, this is a very quick moving, right, course for the 4 weeks. You're going to have one group project. You'll have a little bit of a discussion board in responses and some of sticky board type of activities during the modules. But you have one individual assignment and then you have one group project assignment. And I'm going to get into detail about those in a minute. Here are your 5 course outcomes. And you will obviously be reading a lot of things. There's no textbook, obviously, but we have some journal articles and a lot of information, right, on these particular items that are current, right? This is a class that's really hard to have a textbook because textbooks get outdated quickly, right? Because we advance so much in technology in our lives and in healthcare too. We're gonna synthesize liberal education and nursing knowledge of information systems and healthcare information technology. You're going to hear us call that HIT a lot, HIT, right? Because we need to do all those kind of things to provide the best patient-centered care using technology and information. As you can read the other ones too, we're going to talk a lot about clinical decision software. We're going to talk about ethics, the value of using technology in nursing. Sometimes we think of it as a barrier or a burden, right? And sometimes it is. But again, what are we trying to do? And it's all in the scholarship of nursing, right? To advance quality and safety outcomes. Those are our goals for these 4 weeks. As you can see in your grading rubric, here is the breakdown, and I will not go through all that, but that is posted and it is here. And your grading scale has been the same, of course. Again, this is what your module looks like, or your shell, your Blackboard shell looks like, and it is broken into these different categories. And as you can see, technology and informatics, we're going to do in our week 1 a little bit more of a foundation. Look at some federal acts. Where are we? Both pre-COVID, post-COVID, where are we going with technology and informatics? What advancements have we made, et cetera. And then, like I said, we're going to talk a lot about the advancements themselves, the ethics, equity, any kind of bias maybe that is in some of this technology. We're going to approach genetics and genomics. We are seeing so much personalized medicine or personalized healthcare now because of DNA results of, and testing being a little bit more either affordable or approachable in our systems and organizations. So we will approach all of these topics. Live session 1, we're going to go over some vital information to get you started on your group project. We're going to, as I said, we're going to sort of emphasize some foundations on that first one. For the group project, and I'm going to get into details about that in a minute, your topics are pre-assigned and you are going to be randomized into groups. Why do we do that and take away some of that autonomy? Because in this small window of class time, and this is based on student feedback too, we're finding out that to be in a group, know your topic right away, allows you to kind of get working right away. So again, we're hoping we picked very current topics, things that you might not really know about yet. And so we're really going to dive a little bit deeper into that through your projects. And so again, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. All other live sessions, we're going to bring in highlights of each week's module. Some information will be dropped the day before live sessions so that I don't expect, or we don't expect, that you're going to do a lot of per se homework before. It's an activity maybe that we're going to do in class, right? So, in other words, it's to kind of deliver some extra information to you and provide an activity for that learning. Okay, so let's go through those two assignments. Let's start with the group assignment. So the group assignment, as I said, you will be randomized, and it's your group size will be based on the enrollment in the class, the student enrollment, but you're going to be put into one of the groups. You can see the topics to the right of the screen, all kinds of really current topics. Don't worry if you don't know what these are now, because we are going to approach some basics in the class, right? But you're going to dive a little bit deeper in your group, and that's really going to accentuate your learning. And then you're going to listen to each other's presentations too. And so you will be kind of caught up and you will have dived a little deeper on that. I like to say there's instructions, there's a rubric, there's elements that you have to meet in this project. It is a paper and a presentation. Okay, so in your paper, I know students like guidelines, and we usually say it's anywhere from 5 to 10 pages. Length doesn't really matter. If it's, 4.5 to 5, you're perfect. But students have said sometimes it does take longer to hit all those elements. So we put 5 to 10 in there. If you're a little under and a little over, we are totally okay with that. Okay. But again, that's not including your title page or your reference page, of course. Okay. Then you're going to get together on any platform you want, Zoom or anything, but you're going to put together a presentation based on your findings of, this particular, and consult your rubric, but you're going to put together a little presentation. A lot of times, this is on video. Everyone has to be from your group has to be shown in the little box or whatever, again, platform that you use. It is not a voiced over PowerPoint or anything like that. Everyone must be visible on the screen. You can be as creative as you want in this. A lot of times students will take their papers and kind of put the highlights on a few PowerPoint slides and present that. So that's totally up to you, though. I love student creativity. So do whatever you want to do. Of course, in some of these, they're actual technology appliances or devices, equipment, things like that. So you may want to show pictures of whatever you're talking about too. Or you might want to show an example of something, or, whatever you want to do. We love your creativity in that. Usually that presentation is anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. But again, we are less concerned about the length. We just want to make sure that you're looking at your rubric and you're hitting all the elements of what you are supposed to really, cover. Again, most of this is really identifying this technology, summarizing and examining the pros and cons of the innovation, and considering the cost effectiveness, what it does for health outcomes, where you think it's going in the future, even. So again, it is really just, consult your rubric and your instructions for further information. But again, these are very up and coming topics. Think of your questions, because we're going to move, and write those down as you really explore this assignment. But we're going to go on to your individual assignment. So as stated, you have a group assignment. And remember that group assignment is a paper and a presentation that's due on week 4. This informatics assignment, that's really a reflection paper. This is individual, just student, one, a single student, Faculty is the only one that reads your reflection on this. It is not shared with the group. And so this is really putting a few things together to have you self-analyze, self-reflect. And again, there's some prompts at the bottom, as you can see, but you're going to elicit your responses to these questions and what really like resonated with you, right? So the thing about this 4-week course is, and especially on this assignment too, it's broken down to three things that you're going to either view, listen to, or read. So there's a journal article there. And again, everything is linked in your Blackboard shell. But you're going to go ahead and read an article. Usually, and I put timings on there, usually about 15 minutes maybe to read that, give or take a little bit. And you're going to write down your reflections for that. Like, what are you thinking about that? And that's about precision health, and that's genetics and genomics and using precision health and DNA testing results, etc. I won't take the fun out of you reading the article, but you're going to kind of think about your thoughts on that. Then you're going to listen to a podcast about how AI and machine learning is developing in nursing. And so again, the link is there. That's 37 minutes. The first part of that really is talking about transformational leadership too in today's healthcare, which is a link to, again, what you've already studied and where you're going in your leadership class next semester. So that's a nice little tie-in. And then you're going to listen to a documentary that's 56 minutes. Again, these are all set up for you to click into. The documentary is on Vimeo and it's free, but you may have to create a free account to access this documentary, but again, totally free. If you notice, and if you are into your APA format, you can tell that the podcast is from 2023. The journal article is from 2020, right? So within the 5 years, the documentary is from 2016. That's done purposefully, right? Because it's about the human face of big data. We're talking a lot about data and big data and technology and all those kind of things in this class. We want to make sure that you're really looking at something that's pre-COVID. Where were we at? Where are we going? That is the theme for this assignment. Okay. So again, when you see 2016, please don't pull those for your scholarly work, but this has been done purposefully. It's a really good documentary, but I want you to think on this. Where have we been? Where are we going? And in 2016, did they say things that were up and coming, but then now we're living them? So think about that. As you can see at the bottom of this right side of the screen, just like in your instructions on your assignment, those are the prompts that are going to guide your paper. When you're given prompts to guide your paper, make sure that you are addressing those things. You can go above and beyond. You can reflect any way that you want, but these are the prompts that you must be addressing within your paper. This reflection paper is usually about 2 pages long. Again, I know that sometimes some of us are a little bit more verbose than others. Please feel free. You can go over that amount. You do not have to ask for permission. Again, I wouldn't think that this would be beyond probably 4 pages, maybe. Again, minus your references in your title page. I don't think that it'll be beyond that. So consider that, condensing a little bit. But again, you really only have to answer these 4 prompts, but sometimes different things resonate with us and we want to get those on paper. Okay. So that is your individual assignment. So again, those are the major components of this course. Please, as we always say, look over. There's no pre-work for the first session necessarily. Okay. Obviously, you have module work each week. We meet on Wednesdays. But please bring your questions to the first live session. You can feel free to drop your faculty an email for clarity. I hope you're really excited about this. I always call this the Fast and the Furious Four because we go really quick with this course, but I hope that you really find it exciting. I hope you find out technological advancements that maybe you haven't seen in clinical yet, or you have, but you didn't understand. And really learn a little bit more about genetics and genomics, pulling in that microbiology segment of our our prereqs for a nursing program. Hope that we're pulling all of those together to tell you where we are today. Where we are tomorrow changes really quick. So again, if you were to take this course again next year, it would have even more, right? Advancements because it changes very rapidly. But we hope you get really excited about the things that are in the forefront of your profession. Look forward to seeing you at our first session.